Welcome to another episode of Knowledge is Power, where we come together to share with you some expertise. Today, it is something different. We want you to get more mobility. Yes, and we have heard you about all those pain and aches that you have been experiencing. It is because your blood circulation is not moving as good as what we used to. And sometimes that when we don't move enough, our pain level goes up. Maybe some of you said, "Oh, I'm too sore to move." But the truth is, gentle exercise does help you to improve your strength and help you to be able to move again. So, who better than an expert in this area? Hi, Jana. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love to see how everything is set up. It's amazing.
We're ready to go, Martha. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this.
Please tell us a little bit more about you first.
So my name is Jana Barrett, and I am a fitness and movement coach, and I help predominantly women over the age of 40. So the women that you serve in your Facebook community to move and live pain-free, essentially. So I am all about for women to age without the common aches, pains, and often injuries. And that goes for women who perhaps are, inactive, and also for women who are super active too. So I serve both of these audiences. And I have been doing this work for over a decade. So if anyone has any pain somewhere in the body, the chances are I have seen it and I know how to fix it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So, without further ado, I'll give the stage to you and I'll come back at the end of it. I look forward to move my body with you today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So,
Thank
welcome,
you.
beautiful women, to this workshop. I think we have about an hour together. So, how I'm going to structure today's workshop, first of all, we're going to start with some basic mobility movements. So, I'm going to give you about 10 to 15-minute routine that you can do from the comfort of your own home. You can do it regardless of your level of skill and ability or the pain you are in. However, a disclaimer: if you are experiencing pains, aches, and possibly some injuries, which is very common for women 40 plus, due to perimenopause, menopause, and also injuries, then know that, listen to your body. Okay. You should never move through pain. However, movement, especially gentle movement like mobility, is incredibly important and crucial in you eliminating all these tense and stiff areas in your body, pains and aches, whether they are because you have to sit down in front of a computer for long periods of time, whether it's because that you are super active, or whether it is because you are going through perimenopause and menopause. So joint and muscle pain is a very real symptom for many women. So we're going to start with just a simple 15-minute routine. And then I'm going to take it a little bit, kind of take it up a notch a little bit, and teach you a very simple mobility flow. So why do I love mobility flow so much? Because not only they will give you mobility and flexibility, so getting into your joints and again removing the stiff, tight spots in your body, but it also will add an element of strength. So mobility is essentially strength training for your joints. And if you're not doing mobility after 40, you're definitely making a big mistake. That is, in my opinion, one of the most important training styles that you should be doing most days, at least 5 times a week. But the good news is that you only need 5 to 10 minutes a day to make sure that you can move and live a pain-free life. The notion that you should be in pain and it's okay to be in pain just because you are aging is simply not true. And that is one of the biggest myths that I have to bust every single day. Just because you are getting older does not necessarily mean that you have to live and move with pain. So, but let's stop talking and let's start doing. So come and move with me, but only move to your comfortable range. Don't take your body to ranges where you're experiencing severe discomfort or even pain. Mobility is about getting gains slowly, and you have to do it consistently to experience transformations and results. I have had clients who have had amazing results within days or weeks, but don't try to do everything in just one session. Give it some time, start gentle, start slowly, and then with time, you will notice that you have more energy, you're moving better, you have less tension, stiffness, and less pain in your body. So first we're going to start with some standing mobility movements. This is called open chain mobility, and it's slightly easier. Then we're going to move down onto the ground and take it a little bit deeper. Then we take a bit of a break, bit of a breather, bit of a water break, and then I'm gonna start coaching you and teaching you a mobility flow. So let's start with the neck. We're going to literally go from neck to toes and get into every single nook and cranny of your body. So the neck, so start with just gentle twists. When you're just standing, I would like you to slightly tighten your glutes, yeah? Slightly tense your abdominal wall and compress the shoulder blades down. So the shoulders are never up by your ears. And then we're just going to go side to side. Again, as I said, go to your range of motion. Go somewhere where you can feel a pleasant stretch, but no pain or no discomfort, okay? You will notice over time that your body will kind of yield a little bit and you will be able to go further and further, or you would also be able to move without discomfort and pain. Think of mobility as kind of shaving off the tension slowly and gradually, okay? Now, the neck, it's very crucial to be mobilizing your neck and doing mobility exercises for the neck because of how much time we spend on computers and phones. Okay. Now go forwards and backwards. I'm going to show you sideways. Yeah. So now again, forwards and backwards. Only go somewhere where you feel a pleasant stretch without kind of pushing and challenging the tissue too much. So a lot of people that come through to my practice, to my coaching practice, have issues with their necks. Yeah. And it's that kind of, we're all adapting this type of posture because of time and computers, phones, and these movements will compensate for that. Okay. Now we're going to take it slightly more complex. We're going to go tilt towards the shoulder, so ear to shoulder. And again, make sure that you are pushing the shoulders down, chin to shoulder. Transfer to the other side, ear to shoulder, chin to shoulder. And just go side to side at your own speed. If you need to go slowly, more slower than me, do that. As you get a little bit more efficient at it and you learn, you can kind of go in one continuous motion and do like a figure eight. But at the beginning, definitely go very slowly. Listen to your body. Observe. Is one side tighter than the other? Mobility gives you a lot of information about your body, where you're holding tension, which side is tighter than the other. And then you can get a little bit curious about why. Is it because maybe you're using your mouse just with your right hand, so the whole side is tight? Okay, next movement. Again, stabilize your posture, yeah? So slightly squeeze the glutes, tighten the abdominal wall, compress the shoulders down. Now you're going to pop your head out as far as it will go. Then you're going to retract and almost like pretending that you've got a string tied to the top of your head. Somebody's pulling you up, yeah? So you are essentially tracking this kind of parabol shape. So here and then up. This is by far the best movement to compensate for this and then give you that beautiful posture back. We're all spending a lot of time on computers. It's inevitable, but you can do a lot about it so your body doesn't have to adapt that kind of structure and give you a poor posture, which is not very attractive and also will lead to pain. Okay, so just again, go to your comfort range. Don't push it. You don't want any shooting nervy pain. You only want like a really nice, pleasant stretch. Okay, we're going to get into the shoulders now, okay, and the shoulder blades. Now, often from computer work, again, people are very locked up here, which often leads to either neck pain or lower back pain. So we're going to get into the shoulders and into the thoracic spine, so the area between the shoulder blades. And we're going to start with rolling shoulder blade. So you are going to do a big opposing circles with your shoulders. And now you're not only moving the shoulders, you really need to send the work back into the shoulder blades. And I want you to feel the mobility happening between your shoulder blades, okay? So go nice and slow and see if you can move and get into the shoulder blades, okay? This feels really good. Perfect at the end of your workday if you have spent some time on the computer. You'll see it just feels really delicious. It almost seems like it oxygenates and lubricates and makes that area alive again after you've been stuck on the computer. And now we're going to reverse the movement, yeah? So now you're going to go the other way, always going both ways when you're doing mobility work. So again, sending the work between the shoulder blades, not just the shoulders. And then we're going to do a little bit more work for the shoulders as well. Frozen shoulder is a very common condition I see in my coaching practice, where women get wicked pain in the shoulder and can't lift their arms at all. That stems from the shoulder blades. So if you know a friend or you yourself suffer from immobile, painful shoulders, then know that you need to work on your shoulder blades, not just the shoulder joint, okay? But we're just going to go through some nice, gentle shoulder circles. This doesn't have to be a big movement. You don't have to go like really big. We're just basically warming up the joint, yeah? But you want to lock your arm. So again, we're going to go both ways. So you're going to go one way with the circles and then the other way. This is going to be basically like a 10-minute routine that will be wonderful if you want to do that every single day and switch sides. If you start your day with 5 to 10 minutes of mobility, you're going to feel amazing the whole day. Not only are you going to feel like you can move well and your body feels very kind of fluid and alive, you also will be in a lot less pain. Or another thing is to do it at the end of your workday, especially if you have to sit down, okay? All right, we're going to get more into the thoracic spine. So again, balancing for this kind of posture, you probably notice a lot of people are walking around in this type of posture. So this movement is fantastic for that. So you're going to form like a bow shape with your body, okay? You're going to tighten the glutes and squeeze the abs. And then you're going to pop your arms as forward as they would comfortably go, okay? From here, you're going to keep your glutes engaged, tight to protect your lower back, and you're going to open the other way, okay? So the whole movement looks like this, from this to this. Again, go at your own speed and work with your breath. Don't hold your breath, okay? So you want to exhale in the final position. Inhale as you're transitioning and exhale as you come back, okay? Let's just go nice and slow. This one feels particularly lovely. A lot of my clients swear by this one. You can take little mini breaks during your workday as well if you have to be on the computer, okay? I do that, just these little micro breaks where you just maybe do 2 movements and you will see how you get injected with a little bit of energy and you start feeling much better, okay? Cool. We're going to get into the wrists as well. So again, computer lifestyle gives us a lot of tension in the forearms, and often that comes up and gives us a neck pain, okay? So this is called a motorbike for obvious reasons. So you're just pushing this part of your palm forward, yeah? A lot of women get injured wrists, yeah, because they have quite weak wrists. It's I think 1 in 3 women over 50 will break a bone due to a fall, and one of the most common sites is the wrists. So having enough mobility and strength in your wrists is incredibly important. Now go side to side, okay? We're going to get deeper into the wrists on the ground. I'm going to teach you a movement that is phenomenal in building strength in the wrist. So if you happen to fall, then you won't hopefully suffer from a fracture in the wrist, which is not much fun. Circles. My mother did that here in New Zealand. She came to visit and fell over, fractured her wrist, had to have a surgery. Not fun. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go into a bit of a body weight deadlift. Okay, so deadlift is a quite different pattern to a squat. You're going to basically squeeze your glutes and you're going to push your hips backwards. Okay, this is a lovely exercise for your glutes here, these big powerhouses of a muscle who should be doing a lot of the work like squatting and sitting, walking and running for you. But it's a really lovely stretch for the hamstrings, which are the muscles at the back of the thigh. Okay, so that warms up your hips as well, which is lovely. And just kind of, if you are just about to do some exercise, it's a really nice activation for the glutes. The glutes are sadly one of the laziest muscle in the body, and often lazy glutes lead to a lot of either hip pain or lower back pain too, which is not much fun. Okay, so just to do a few more, this is a nice exercise. Right, now you're going to bend your legs a little bit and place your elbows on top of the knees. And then we're going to do thoracic rotation. So again, just mobilizing the area around the shoulder blades. Again, to compensate for possibly a bit of a computer lifestyle, which, you know, a lot of us can't help. Excuse me, even I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. It is just what it is. But you can do a lot to not have poor posture and pain in the upper back. All right, we're going to do a few movements for the legs. Yeah, so lift your leg up. This is also going to work on your balance. If you're struggling with your balance, then feel free to hold on to something, okay? Which is very common, but as you are aging, you really need to work on your balance because that's when falls often happen. So lift your leg up as far as high as it will go. Flex your foot. Now come down. Foot is flat. Knees together. Flick back. Yeah, it's a really beautiful mobility work for obviously all the joints in the legs, but also for the quadricep, which is the big muscle in front of your thigh. So just go here. These are called leg swings. Super fun. I'll show you forward as well. I'm keeping my knees together. Yeah. Test your balance a little bit too. See how you go. A lot of people are quite wobbly. Okay, and let's switch legs, yeah? If you are one of those people that are twisting their ankles a lot, work on your mobility and stability, yeah? So one-legged exercises are really important. Nice. We're going to go back down onto the floor, so I'm going to lower the screen a little bit, and we're going to do some exercises down on the floor now, okay? So go on your hands and knees. And then I'm going to teach you a phenomenal wrist exercise for not only mobilizing your wrists, but strengthening them as well. Okay, so hands and knees. Make sure that your joints are stacked up. So shoulder, elbow, wrist are perfectly on top of one another. Okay, from here, you're going to start doing circles. Okay, now, how big your circle is entirely up to you. A lot of people have quite tender wrists. So start with small ones. As you gain a little bit more strength and mobility in your wrist, you can go quite big, okay? We're going to do 3 to 5 circles each way. So then we're going to switch directions and go the other way. If you want to work on your wrist, your strength and your mobility, then you can just pick this exercise and do this every day, okay, or 3 times a week. You would be really surprised how quickly your wrist will strengthen, okay? I give this one to all my clients who struggle. Okay, now we're going to move our hands a little bit to the side, yeah? So somewhere between here and there, all right? So you were here, Now we're going to move, I think there'll be 45 degrees. Yeah. So now you're here. And again, we're going to repeat the circles. How big your circles are is entirely up to you. Again, between 3 and 5, and switch and go the other way. Now we're going to go 90 degrees. So like a seal position. Okay. And again, we're going to repeat. So you can see that you are strengthening and mobilizing your wrists in all directions and in all kind of ranges of motion. Okay. And then let's switch. Super effective movement. This is literally one of my most favorite that I will teach to most people. Okay, move another 45 degrees. So now you are here. So we've gone from this to this to this, now here, and eventually we're going to go all the way, okay? Which is not always available to all people just yet. But no, you can restore mobility in any part of your body, even if you've had injuries, okay? So again, go both ways. And then final position, fingers are actually pointing towards the knees, okay? If this is too much for you right now, then don't worry about it. Yeah, just don't do it. You don't want pain. But you should have this type of mobility in your wrists, okay? So just work on it. Work on the other positions first, and eventually this one will be unlocked for you too, okay? All right, back to hands and knees, both palms down, and we're just going to thread side to side. So this is a wonderful mobility movement for the upper back, the back of the shoulders, and you might feel it in your shoulders as well, yeah? If I show you sideways for another view, yeah, I'm just popping down only again as low as your body will allow you to go. If you are up here, then that is totally okay. If you have a little bit more mobility available to you, then you will be here. Keep your arms locked. Yeah, elbow is locked. Elbow doesn't bend. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into the upper back because that is such a problematic area for most people, especially people who have to spend lots of time in offices, okay? So now, palm up, you're going to thread and you're going to place your head and your shoulder on the ground. From here, come up and open up the other way. So the whole movement looks like this. From here to here, okay? And just again, do between 3 and 7 repetitions on each side, okay? If you don't have time for this whole routine, just divide it up into, even if you just do 3 exercises a day, it is still better than not doing anything at all, okay? And once I teach you the whole flow, which is very heavily focused on the hips, because that is, again, one of the most problematic areas for most people, then you can just do that as well. Okay, fantastic. From here, we're going to do slightly kind of more complex movement. If you're struggling with this one, just leave them out. Any movement that is too much for you, just leave it out. There's enough today we're going to learn. Even if you just have to skip some, you still have enough, okay? So if something is really not accessible to you or it's causing you great discomfort or pain, just leave it out, okay? All right, hands and knees. Set the shoulders in. Now pop your foot forward as far forward as it will go, but without moving your hips sideways or moving your hips down, okay? So note my hips are in one place and I'm just going to put my foot forward. This will really highlight any mobility restrictions you might have in the hips, okay? If you are here, then so be it, okay? We all have to start from somewhere. It is okay. If you have a little bit more available to you, then that's good too. Tuck your toes under and push the back heel backwards, yeah? So note, I am not going up. I'm not going down, yeah? My hips are in one place. All I'm doing, I'm just straightening the back leg. This is literally a stretch for both of the legs, and it's really good. Obviously working on your hip mobility too, Try the other side. Yeah, you might have more mobility on the other side, you might have less, you might have the same. And then just go side to side. This is called a mountain climber. And for a lot of people, it will highlight mobility restrictions in the hips. Okay, so if I show you forward, again, not changing the position of the hips, I'm going side to side. Yeah, tighten your glutes as much as you can in this. Let's do one more on each side. Perfect. All right, now we're going to move into the hips. And some of these movements will also be part of our flow. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with what's called a shin box switch. The shin box switch is literally one of the most effective movements for the hips. If you have any type of hip pain, knee pain, or lower back pain, that you absolutely must be doing hip mobility. Okay, we become tragically tight and stiff in the hips, and that's leading to whole sort of problems that trickle down or trickle up. Okay, so the shin box switch, you go from this position, okay, and all you're doing, not shifting the feet at all, you are just folding your legs from side to side. And we're going to learn these movements and then we're going to blend them together into a flow, which is like super fun. You get a little bit of cardiovascular response and a little bit more strength training in that as well. Remember, mobility is strength training for your joints and your connective tissue, like ligaments and tendons, okay? See how you go. See how you feel on each side, yeah? You might have different mobility restrictions on each side, especially if you are a woman who's crossing her legs. I will strongly recommend you don't, because that tightens the tissue on one side and it causes a lot of imbalances, okay? So try not to cross your legs. It's not good for your joints, okay? Right, so this is a basic shin box switch. From here, go into your basic shin box switch and we're gonna go into shin box extension, okay? Now, I know from experience that this is sometimes a very challenging movement for a lot of women. So I'm going to show you little hacks how to get into it, okay? So again, to run you through the movement, you go into a basic shin box switch and then you're going to pop up, okay? So we're now entering into a little bit of more strength training movements. This is definitely building strength in your hips, hip flexors, and in your glutes. It's also promoting mobility, yeah, because you should be able to go to full hip extension. However, I know this is challenging for many women. So 2 different tips and tricks. You can use a little bit of momentum and rock into the movement, yeah? If that is still too challenging for you, just use your hand and push yourself off, okay? So you just put your hand at the back and you pop up, okay? If you don't have full extension in the hips, then just go somewhere where it's comfortable for you. But make sure that you are using the glutes to pop you up, okay? And let's try it on the other side. So we're going to go side to side, okay? Again here, tighten the abs, tighten the glutes, pop up, okay? See how you go. Don't be deterred if it's challenging. Just work on it, yeah? Either rock into it or you can just use your hand. You can use both hands, okay, to help yourself. It's okay. It's just the beginning, yeah? You will be surprised how quickly you will gain the strength and the mobility to be able to do this without your hands. And this is what you really should be able to do, okay? Strength-wise, because, you know, once you get a hip fracture at the age of 65, it's kind of the beginning of the end. So work at your hips, yeah, because you don't want that. It's basically beginning of the end for most people, yeah? We want to avoid hip fractures at all costs. Okay, so this is the shin box extension. And then we're going to learn how to do a shin box pigeon. So again, from the basic shin box, you are going to extend the back leg. Now, this is not a yoga pigeon where you lift the glute off the ground. You're going to keep that glute firmly pushed into the floor. And then you trying to twist this hip over. Now, the full expression of the movement is this. However, if that's not available to you just yet, it's all right. You can leave the leg unlocked. You can just do what you can here, okay? But don't lift that butt cheek off the ground. Bring your leg back, transition to the other side, try it on the other side. Again, full expression of the movement is here. That should be your aim, eventually where to get. But anywhere you are, yeah, that's okay. So you're trying to twist the foot. Yeah, roll the hip on top. Let's just keep going and see how you go. Yeah. Some of these are challenging movements. I get that. Yeah. Just pick and choose what you can do to start. It's okay. Let's do one more on each side. We're going to be combining these hip movements into the flow. Yeah, it's going to be super fun. Okay, now, next shin box switch variation. I'm going to go this way so you can see a little bit better. Again, starting in a simple shin box switch, we are going to thread our arm towards the hip. Yeah, so from the knee to the hip. Now, I recently really injured my ribs, so I can't go very deep on this side. So I'm just going to show you, and then we're going to transition to the other side. And again, thread towards the hip. Yeah, it's a lovely one for the upper back. Again, I've got a bit of a limited range on this side because of a rib injury. That's quite fresh. So I'm just going to go to my comfort range. And so do you. You go to your comfort range of motion as well. Okay. Very good. Okay. So this is your mobility warm-up. It's probably a little bit longer. I took my time with a lot of explanation, but once you learn this, it will probably take you about 10 to 15 minutes. You can also just choose to do the standing movements separately to the ones on the ground. So then you probably have like a 7-8 minute or just under 10-minute routine for each. Okay. So let's take a bit of a break. I'm just going to have a sip of water. You too have a sip of water. Shake it out, have a bit of a break. Hopefully you got some answers now to where you might have limited mobility and flexibility, where you perhaps hold tension, where you are stiff, and then that will give you information to where you need to put a little bit more effort in, okay? Is it perhaps your neck? Is it your upper back? Have you just realized that you've got tight, possibly a little bit weak hips? Okay. Now, if you are a super active person, doesn't mean that you don't have limitations somewhere. Okay. Even I do. And I do mobility every single day. And I have been for the last 5-6 years. I coach a lot of athletes who actually have a lot of tension in their bodies and a lot of injuries. So mobility is really crucial. If you are super active, you go to the gym, you weight lift, you do CrossFit, you're a runner. Okay. All right, let's start working on our flow. So it is going to be a flow heavily focused on the hips, and it's going to be on the ground. So I'm teaching this flow for mainly beginners or people who are starting out with mobility. But even as I said, if you're active, you're going to really appreciate keeping your hips supple and keeping your whole body very supple and moving very well. Okay, so we're going to start on the ground with our feet slightly out and a little bit wider than your hips. And first, we're going to go into the shin box switch, and we're going to start with a hip flexor stretch. Okay, so shin box switch. And now all you're doing, you are squeezing your butt cheek and you are pushing your hip forward. Okay. It's a quite subtle, gentle movement, but trust me, this is wonderful in mobilizing the hip flexors. If you spend time sitting down for whatever reason, whether it's driving, sitting in an office in front of a computer, maybe you're a checkout person at the supermarket and you're sitting down, chances are your hip flexors are quite tight because you are basically flexing them the whole time you're sitting down. We all sit down too much, all of us, okay? So this will just release it and stretch it, and it feels really good, okay? Again, go to your comfortable range, okay? Somewhere where your body wants to go with a nice stretch, but not pain or discomfort. Okay, now we're already in the shin box switch, and now we're going to go into the extension, okay? So again, we talked about this. You know that if you are struggling to pop up on your own unassisted, then you can either rock into it, or you can actually just push yourself off the ground and help yourself while you're still gaining the strength and the mobility to be able to do this, okay? So we're going to go up. Now, how many repetitions you do per each movement is entirely up to you. You can just cycle through one at a time, or you can do 3 and more if you want that as a bit of a strength kind of little mini interval training, okay? From here, we're going to go into the pigeon. So here is the pigeon, okay? Go nice and slow. Yeah, you should be nicely warmed up now. Okay, from here, we're going to go into the shin box thread, which is a little bit more for upper body, okay? Okay. From here, we're going to do spinal twist. So you're going to bring your foot forward. Now, there's 2 options. I'm going to twist a little bit so you can see me. So I was in the shin box switch. So 2 options. If you have enough mobility and flexibility to go over the knee, go for it, but you need to be able to keep both butt cheeks on the ground. If you notice that one is lifting, then you're going to have to go into this version, which is on the inside of the knee. And then we're going to wrap. Yeah. You need to be able to keep both butt cheeks on the ground. Okay. So if you can do it in this position, fantastic. And you should be feeling lots of lovely stretching in that glute. If that's not available to you, if you're just starting out, just go here. It's okay. Yeah. It'll be still a really nice stretch. Spinal twist. Open back into the shin box. We're going to go into a bridge. Okay. And we're going to run through this mobility flow a few times. I'm going to show you from different directions. At the moment, you might be a bit confused which way you're going, but it will become more obvious. Okay. I'm going to go nice and slow, and we're going to cycle through this over and over and over. Okay. So then you can master it, so you can do it on your own. So I'm going to plant my hand behind, quite close to my hips, and I'm going to push with my glutes, go to full extension. Okay, this is a delicious stretch for the whole core, and you'll be able to feel it in the hips as well. And the arm comes over, and then you can do some arm circles. If you do arm circles at the front, then you're stretching all the muscles at the back. If you do the arm circles the other way, you're going to then get into the chest and stretch the chest, which again gets so tight when we're working in front of a computer. Okay, now we're going to come back in the middle, and we're going to go into tabletops, which is a bit of a strength exercise, but super fun. Great stretch for the bicep and the chest. So ideally, if you can, your fingers will be pointing towards your hips. However, if that's uncomfortable, feel free to open them in any way. Yeah, that's good for you. Bring your feet nice and close, and you are going to pop up into like this staple shape. Okay, and let's do a few of these because these are really good. Make sure that your chest is up, yeah? You don't want to kind of collapse the shoulders by your ears. So here, tighten the butt cheeks. With an exhale, go up, okay? So this is a bit of a strength movement now. Mobility / strength training, yeah? From here, you are going to straighten your legs, and then we're going to be working on our lower core and our hip flexors some more with leg lifts. Yeah. So tighten the core. Even sitting in this position might be quite uncomfortable for some people. I get that. Okay. You should have a basic level of mobility to be comfortably sitting like this. If you need to move backwards because this is uncomfortable, just do whatever you can do at the beginning. Yeah. But know that you should be working towards this. So tighten the glutes, even though you're sitting on them. Yeah. Tighten the basically the lower abs, and then you just lifting the legs with an exhale. Yeah, let's do like 3 on each side. And these are the movements we're doing in the middle, okay? In our flow. Perfect. And that's the flow on one side. Now we're going to transition to the other side, okay? So I'm going to go change slightly position. Yeah, maybe I'll go this way. And now I'm going on the other side. We're going to start with the shin box switch and then go into the hip flexor stretch. Here, be careful. You don't want to upset the hip flexors. They're quite delicate. So just go into whatever range of motion that's available to you. Just feel that nice stretch. It's quite deep inside the hip. And just let's do between 5 and 10. It's kind of nice just to relax the muscles, especially if you've been sitting down a bit. Okay. Very important for active people like runners or if you're walking a lot. Yeah. Equally, weightlifters, gym enthusiasts, CrossFitters. Okay. So from here, we're going to pop up into the extension. Yeah. And again, let's do like between 1 and 3 repetitions. So then we can turn it into a little bit more of a kind of workout. However, if you just want to do one and just flow through the movements in a bit of a kind of flow state, then do that as well. Yeah. There's definitely different ways you can approach this. From here, we're going to go into the pigeon. So sit yourself up. Maybe you want to spend a little bit of time in here if it feels good. If you're still somewhere where you need to bend the leg and stay up, that's okay too. If you can go for the full range, then that's great. Bring it back. We're going to thread the arm towards the hip now, okay? Again, spend a little bit of time in here, or you can just do like a between 1 and 3 repetitions or more. Yeah. We're going to go into the spinal twist now. So remember, there were 2 options, okay? If you're just starting out or you've got some limitations, I found sometimes bigger women or pregnant women have to go on the inside as well, and that's okay. Whatever version is good for you and your body today, that's the one you do, okay? There's no reason to be feeling like, like a failure because you can't go somewhere. It's okay. Everybody's journeys are different. We're all starting at a different point. So just enjoy the stretch. You're doing it for you and your body to feel better. Right. Now we're going to open up, come back to the middle, and we're going to go into the tabletop and the leg lifts, okay? So first the tabletop. If you can, pop your fingers towards the hips. Perfect. If not, open them up. Okay, from here, let's go into, with an exhale, into 3 tabletops. Beautiful stretch for the chest and biceps and hips. A little bit of work for the core and the legs. All right. Then we're going to sit down. We're going to straighten the legs. Yeah. Now, again, tighten the abdominal wall. Tighten the glutes, even though you're sitting on them. Open the chest as much as you can. Ideally, you should be sitting at a right angle. If that's not possible for you, then obviously you need to tilt, yeah? You can go even a little bit forward if you've got that available. It would be a nice hamstring stretch too. Yeah? Just go 3 lifts per leg with an exhale, yeah? Okay. That is the flow. We're going to start cycling through it maybe a little bit more fluidly, okay? Every flow you learn is going to be clunky at the beginning. Just accept that. It takes 300 goes to master a movement, okay? So we're just at the beginning. It's fine. Okay, let's go together now a little bit faster, okay? We're going to start with the hip flexor stretch. The repetitions are entirely up to you, okay? If you need to work on something a little bit more, then do more repetitions. If you just want to go one at a time, that's okay too. Yeah. We're going to go into the extension. I'm going to go 3 because that is a really nice strength movement. I want to become an old person who can do anything she wants. So I want to work on my hip strength. Okay. From here, we're going to go into the pigeon. You can spend a bit of time here if you want to, or you can transition at your own speed. Now we're going to thread towards the hip. Spinal twist at whatever version it's good for you. Yeah, both sit bones on the ground. If you do yoga, you're probably familiar with this movement. Now we're going to transition in the middle. Set up for the tabletop. I'm going to go for 3 reps. It's a great exercise. If you need to work on your glutes, your hips, then that's a perfect opportunity. Now sit up, spend a little bit of time on the sit up. Leg lifts. This is surprisingly challenging. When I first learned this movement not that long ago, I was actually quite blown away how difficult this is. So if you can't lift very far, don't worry, okay? It is all right. Now we're going to go the other way. So I'm going to show you from this direction too, so then you can see it from a different angle here. I'm going to go into the hip flexor stretch first. That is one that I really enjoy. I hope you're enjoying that too. I hope you're moving with me too. Okay, extension. Yeah. Let's go. I'm going to go 3. You feel free to do as many as is good for you. Then I'm going to transition into the pigeon. Thread. Threading the arm through, stretching the upper back. Spinal twist. I actually realized I forgot to do the bridges with the arm circles. So we'll add that into now. Yeah, bridge. And then you can do your arm circles, which is a lovely movement for the chest and the back. Yeah. Your tabletops. Again, I'm going to go for 3. And then your leg lifts, okay? And I'm going to run you through it one more time because I forgot the bridge with the arm circles on that side, okay? My apologies. Okay. Shake it out, have some water, and we're going to go through the whole flow one more time, okay? I'm going to have a sip of water too. I hope you're feeling warm and supple and maybe a little bit out of breath as well, which will be nice. All right. So the last exercise would be the bridge with the arm circles, okay? Which I forgot on that side. My apologies. All right. One more time, okay? So let's make this real good now. This is like the 3rd time we've gone through it. But also it doesn't mean that it needs to be perfect, okay? It takes time, especially if you're new to this. Extension. I'm going to go for 3. You feel free to do just 1 if that's what you want. Yeah, especially if this is really challenging for you at the beginning. Pigeon. Now we're going to thread the arm through. Get into the upper back. Yeah. Spinal twist in whatever version it's good for you today. If you've got quite tight hips and tight glutes, then maybe this is the option, or you can go over as well, okay? And now we're going to go into the bridge. So arm is planted close to the hips. Bridge up, which feels really nice. Optional, you can go into the semicircles. If you're doing them in front of the body, you should be feeling a lot of stretching in the back. If you open to the back, then it's chest. It's a lovely stretch for the core as well, so the abs. And then we're going to transition in the middle where we started. First, we're going to go for our tabletops. We've done a lot of tabletops. You might get a bit of a sore glutes tomorrow, but that's great. Yeah? Set up for the leg lifts. And then go for the leg lifts, which is a great lower core exercise. If you've had babies, the lower abs take a long time for you to strengthen them and kind of return them back to what they used to be. Okay. Mine took years and years and years. I've had 3 babies. So this is a really nice, gentle movement for this. Okay. Right. Let's go to the other side. I'm just going to tilt myself a little bit. Start with the hip flexor stretch. And then let's go into the extension. I'm going to go 3 times, but your reps are yours. So you do as many as you want. If it's too challenging, just leave it out and work on some other stretches first, okay? And build the strength to be able to do that, or help yourself with the arms. Okay, bring it back, threading towards the hip. Spinal twist in whatever version it's good for you, on the inside of the knee or outside, but you need to be able to sit back. Yeah, put both sit bones on the ground. Tighten your abs a little bit too. And from here, we're going to go into the bridge with the arm circles, okay? Plant the hand behind you there. Make sure your arm is perpendicular to the ground. First, give yourself a bit of a stretch, and then you can open with the arm circles and then go the other way. It's a nice, obviously, shoulder exercise, but also a beautiful stretch for all the muscles. And then we're going to come in the middle. You probably know what's coming next. It's the tabletop. Nice big exhale. And then we're going to finish with the leg lifts. Okay. So tighten the abs, tighten the glutes, and then let's lift. It's really pulling on my ribs. So my right leg doesn't have as much range of motion, but you go somewhere where it's good for you. Okay. So here you have it. Here is an incredible mobility flow that will get literally into every single joint and every single muscle in your body at least twice. If you do this flow every single day, I can guarantee you that you're going to feel amazing within a week. You're going to feel better, move better, get rid of tense points, tension, stiffness, aches and pains. And it's going to also ensure that as you are aging, you are able to, retain a really good quality of life. So thank you so much for watching. And over to you, Martha.
It was amazing. I really enjoy all the activity that we just done there, and I think that's actually very, very helpful.
That's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was actually really good. So, our audience and our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such an amazing way to see different ways of a movement that we can gain. And if you are at a more advanced level, please do talk to Jana here for more different kinds of activities that will help you to move even better or to solve some of the pain points that you may have.
Thank you so much for having me, Martha.
Thank you so much. Thank you again to our audience and our listeners for watching today's Knowledge is Power. We look forward to seeing you next time.